The end of training camp is always really interesting, as we all know, because of the fact that there are going to be players that unexpectedly make the roster on opening night. And I think the Detroit Red Wings are about to experience that with Elmer Soderblom taking over Simon Edvinsson. And a lot of people thought that Soderblom were ways away from being NHL ready, but I think he's about to prove them all wrong. So you guys might be asking, well, how so? Well, let's just talk about it in general, because throughout the prospect tournament and training camp, the big Swede has lived up to the hype. He has been consistently confident and collected throughout these 2 weeks. He's impressed his teammates and spectators at both events, and this has really just been an opportunity for prospects on the cusp of making the roster to prove themselves, and I think that's exactly what Soderblom has done. In the first game of the preseason against the Pittsburgh Penguins, the entire Red Wings team just performed remarkably well. And to put it simply, it's just a bunch of rookies shutting down some of the better known veterans in the league, which was a beautiful sight to see. Soderblom was no exception as he scored a beautiful goal assisted by Jonathan Berggren that had everyone jumping for joy. It's plays like that that make him such a unique and great talent, honestly, because you would never expect someone who is 6'8" and almost 250 pounds to be such a solid skater while also having such strong puck handling skills. And Soderblom got around Sidney Crosby to get the puck to Bergeron, who then set up the perfect scoring chance for him around the net. And this was by no means a flashy goal like those we've seen in the past, but it was exactly what he needed to do, which proves that he has pure skill driving his game. As the Red Wings faced the Chicago Blackhawks, Soderblom took on his brother, who was in net for Chicago, and he almost scored on him just under 2 minutes into the game, but Adam Erne ended up scoring off the rebound. And throughout the game, Soderblom was noticeably the best Red Wings player out there and kept the momentum in his team's favor every shift, and it was really remarkable to see. He was on a line with Erne and P.S. Suter, which generated the only two Red Wings goals of the game, and it was absolutely electric. It could have been the combination of Soderblom trying to prove his case for a roster spot and Erne trying to keep his, but I can see this line translating well into the regular season, especially since they were the most effective and productive line on the ice. However, someone will need to be bumped out for Soderblom to step in all, Soderblom has what it takes to be a successful NHL player in the near future, and by all means, I mean this season, and possibly even opening night, which is less than 2 weeks away. And watching him play his first NHL level game against seasoned veterans on the Penguins roster was very telling of the kind of athlete he is. And he didn't just play well enough to be noticed, he played well enough to stand out. And every time Soderblom was on the ice, he made plays and made himself noticeable. Although his height helps, he has a big game to match his stature, and he has the mobility, the finesse, the strength, and the skill with the puck needed to keep up with his teammates. And he has displayed that throughout the prospect tournament as well, and also in training camp, and now in these two preseason games so far. So we have a lot of data to kind of be able to take out of Soderblom. And it's hard to find a reason for him not to earn a roster spot this season because he really just deserves it. And is there going to be room for him? Or if he gets called up, who should be sent down? And there's obviously going to be a lot of questions about how the team will look if Soderblom stays in Detroit, but for now, he definitely deserves the opportunity. Another player who is expected to make the opening night roster is Simon Edvinsson, and from what I've seen these last few weeks, it seems that Soderblom is actually closer to being NHL ready than Edvinsson is, and I initially thought the opposite would happen, but after seeing them play in the preseason, I kind of just decided to change my mind because they're both remarkably talented players, but the consistency in Soderblom's game is just not there for Edvinsson just yet. And the game against the Chicago Blackhawks was Edvinsson's first preseason action since training camp, and he came out very strong. He did not play terribly by any means, but he fell short in a few major areas, and he had an eye-opening turnover that thankfully didn't end up in the back of the net, a play that could have likely been prevented had he been more reactive. And turnovers have been a recent issue for him, honestly, and it's one of his biggest areas and he needs improvement in. And that said, he is still a strong and talented defenseman. He just needs a better handle on the small aspects of his game before he is NHL ready. The defenseman looks too casual more often than he should, and has caused him to make a lot of mistakes, some more harmful than others, and Edvinsson is just a little too slow to make the right decisions and has a tendency to be slightly too risky with the puck. Spending some time in the Grand Rapids would be the best option for his development and to work out these kinks, as he has a very bright future, but a little bit more development in the American Hockey League would make his chances in the NHL even better. All in all, it's hard to know if one or both of these prospects will be in Detroit to start the season or be called up and partway through it, but 6 preseason games remain for Soderblom to cement his case for a roster spot and for Edvinsson to improve upon his defensive mishaps. The next preseason game is on September 30th, which is tomorrow at this time of recording, because today is September 29th, when the Red Wings are hosting the Washington Capitals at Little Caesars Arena. I'm going to assume that it's not going to be a complete shock to see Soderblom in the lineup on October 14th for the home opener, but we shall see what happens. Thank you guys for tuning in and have a wonderful day.